some people will deceive a lot of people by buying gifts, throwing cash. That's not kindness. You can also manipulate with kind gestures.
Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to another episode of 30 Plus Click with Max and Yo-Yo. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of 30 Plus Clip. If you watched our last episode, we started to talk about ways on which you can have a healthy relationship. Now, if you haven't watched that video, that is part one. Go watch it. We're going to link it somewhere, either in the description or in the card somewhere around here. But without further ado, Yo-Yo, whenever we were having that conversation, one of the things that came to my mind was First Corinthians chapter 13. And in case you're not aware, we're Christians. And I think that First Corinthians chapter 13 is the sum total of what it means to have a healthy relationship. And if you don't know what First Corinthians chapter 13 is, it is basically the Christian definition of what love is. And it says love is kind, love is patient, love is understanding, love bears no recollection of wrongs. You know, I can't quote the whole thing, but please go check it out for yourself. But Yo-Yo, talk to us about what it means to love somebody or to have a partner who is kind and understanding.
So I like to go first with saying that love is a decision. Most of the times, really, love doesn't really happen by the feelings. Love is a verb, and love is an action word. And above all, love is a choice. And so, if you have not made up your mind to love and love people and just love without any sentiment or any attachment, you are still in the journey. I would say keep making progress. The journey to loving and in loving is not easy. There's so many things that would want to repel you. There's so many behaviors that want to put you back. But because it's already a choice, right? It helps you to keep going and never ever put the factor of the other person in this equation, because you don't have control over what people will do to you. You don't have control over how people will react to same situations. You only have control over yourself. And so why I feel and I strongly believe that love is a choice.
Yo-Yo, I think it was the episode that we had with Ayo and AK, who, by the way, they're now on the journey towards marriage. So congratulations to those folks. I know that they're going to watch this. So I am so happy to celebrate your engagement on the 30 Plus Clip podcast. And I'm hopefully going to bring you guys back, you know, to have a more holistic conversation now that we're on camera. But however, in that conversation, they talked to us about what it means to have like a kind partner, right? And remember when I started this conversation, you know, I said in First Corinthians 13, love is kind. So talk to me about like a place of kindness in, you know, relationship, and how important it is to have that healthy relationship dynamic as well.
It is very important, right? It also begins from a choice of love. Because if you've not decided to love, there is no way you can be kind. You might be kind once, but you cannot be repeatedly kind, right? And so, but if you've already laid the foundation that I'm in need for love, it is not about you, it is my resolution, it's my decision, I really want to love, then it's a lot easier to bring that Corinthians chapter 13 to life. Some people will buy gifts. Gifting is not kindness. You see, kindness is very deep. It is that state of your heart that you and God knows. So some people will deceive a lot of people by buying gifts, throwing cash, gifting, taking people out. That's not kindness. You can also manipulate with kind gestures, but that is really not kindness. And so kindness is another level of sincerity, is another level of integrity. And you know, integrity can only be measured by your heart, your motive, and God. And so first start with having a conversation with yourself of coming to a place where you want to do this for love. At that point, it's easier for you to build on kindness. And because you're being kind to this person because you love this person, you're doing another repetition of kindness, not because of that person, because you love this person. People would always hurts your heart and hurts your emotions. People would always offend you and fail over and over again. But if you're not running away, you're hearing it because of love and because you're a kind person. Mind you, don't because you want to love this person and you want to be a kind person and just tolerate some domestic abuses and some situations that would not be safe for you. It's also very important to be wise and put those balances as well.
I love that you actually went with in that direction and talking about the boundaries between kindness and abuse, so you don't let yourself be overly kind to the point of abuse. Because while you were talking, I actually pulled up the definition of the word kindness. According to the dictionary definition of kindness, kindness can be defined as the quality of being friendly, being generous, and being considerate. And I think those are three very big words that summarize. And I finally understand why when the Bible talks about love, it says to be kind. Because first, you want to have a partner or be in a relationship with someone who considers you a friend. So a few weeks ago as well, I think one of the very first episodes we did this week, we talked about how to be a real friend. And I think in a relationship, please go back and watch those episodes. Let me tell you, all our episodes, they do be linking up together. Listen, anywho, like we talked about what it means to be a real friend now, and that comes here to this thing, because when you're a real friend to your partner, it's easy for you to be considerate to them. It's easy for you to think about your partner when they come back from work, they're exhausted, they can't do this thing. Your first thought is, how can I help make this person's day a little bit less stressful? Or you might be going out on the way and you see your something that that your partner absolutely needs. They've never spoken about it to you, but deep down inside your heart that they need it. But because you're thinking of them first, so you're considerate towards them, you go out of your way to get those things for them. It's being understanding, being generous. Sorry, I should say being generous. So kindness is a place of being friendly, being generous, and being considerate. And it's very important to having a healthy relationship, because what is the opposite of being generous? Is stingy. Who wants that? What is the opposite of being considerate? Is being inconsiderate. And that's why you see a lot of people, a lot of relationship people, they come on here and be like, he doesn't listen to me, he doesn't understand my point of view, because you're not considerate enough. You're not putting yourself in the opposite person's shoes. What is the opposite of being a friend or being friendly? Is to be an enemy. Now, who wants to be in a relationship with your enemy? And so the first thing for me to building a healthy relationship dynamic is to have kindness. So when you're picking a partner, and I know we spoke about a lot of other things in the last episode, make sure that you're picking someone who is kind. But also, I was speaking with a friend of recently, and probably they'll watch this episode. I am so sorry about your G to 30 plus click, but you gave me permission at the same time, because now I'm going to pivot to the place of trust. A friend of mine once had a relationship where there was little lies that he couldn't get over. His girlfriend was one of those kind of people that just told lies for the sake of telling lies. One thing about lying is that you have to retell a lie. It starts to build like a very huge castle, and that honestly put a big trust dent in their relationship, that he just couldn't get over it and he just couldn't move forward. And so I say all of this to say, trust is a big part of having a healthy relationship. And when trust is broken, it tends to have a very big impact in the dynamic of the relationship. And I want us to have a little bit more conversation about the place of trust in a healthy relationship, Yo-Yo.
When we talked about values in a relationship, there's some things that are very important to people. Some people would prioritize integrity, some people would prioritize money, some people would prioritize just being there for me over trust. But I still believe that the complete version of a relationship that is healthy, it begins with trust. Because there is no way you can trust your heart or commit your heart to someone else without you believing that this person is telling the truth. You know, trust is the reason for a healthy relationship, and trust
Mm,
is the reason why people would stay with people, even if
mm,
they have some flaws, right? Or maybe they don't have enough money. But that trust, right? You know that you can go back home and come back, and this person is telling you the same story, and you've searched, you've tried it a number of times, and this person has integrity. Other things can be learned, but getting somebody that is trustworthy, I don't think is a learning curve. It is just
mm,
innate, right?
mm,
If you meet, for example, let's break it down a little bit. You're 28 years old and you're meeting a girl that is 25. And in 3 months, this girl has told three lies. So, what is the probability that you're going to change this person in 1 year?
mm.
25 years of her life, she has been lying. And just in 3 months, so there is no point stressing your mind. She does not have it. And if you're there, you're struggling with being the trustworthy partner. You really don't know why you tell lies. You really, at the end of the story, you will ask yourself in the bathroom, okay, wait, why did I lie now? You're finding the reason why you lie. Do you know the problem? People that tell lies, they are incompetent. They lack that self strength. They don't believe in themselves. And so they believe they need to package, right? But what they're not putting into consideration is that they are losing people. You're losing relationship. The best amount is the quality of friends you have around you. And so you will lose a lot of people because of one little story. That way you'll be alone. And so right now, practice telling the truth to yourself. Don't start with the people outside. Start with yourself. And if you can tell yourself the truth over and over again, right, it will be more easy for you to pick up that skill. So trust is a must skill in every type of relationship. So go for it.
Oh, yes. I really love that you said that because we're talking about having healthy relationship. Now, I want you guys to have a healthy relationship with us here because, come on now, we're trying to grow, okay? So show us some love. If you've watched this episode up until this point and you've enjoyed what we've had to share with you today, please stick around, be our friend, be our homie, hit that like button, leave us a comment in the comment section, talk to us about, the place of kindness, how you find that valuable in your relationship. Was that a value, or was that a quality that you were looking for in your partner? We want to hear about it in the comment section. We don't want to be talking at you. We want to be talking with you. Okay, this is not a one-sided conversation. Nobody is a wealth of knowledge. We learn with each other and we're growing together. But most importantly, hit that subscribe button because that helps us grow. And share this video with 1, 2, 3 people in your contact list. But yo, as you say, trust is very important. And here's the thing that I want people who are in a relationship to understand, that trust once broken cannot be fully recovered. There's this Igbo adage that says when a rope cuts, when you tie it together, it's not the same length as before it was cut. So when trust is broken, you can regain it, but it's not the same. As a Christian, I believe, the forgive and forget, thing. But we're human beings. It's very difficult to forget. You can forgive, but forgetting is usually a problem. So my advice to you is, people who are in a relationship, please cultivate a series where you are a trustworthy person. Like, don't ever give your partner an opportunity to mistrust you. Like, as a woman, like, you're someone tell you, oh, I see your husband this way. It's okay. I'm aware. Do you understand my point? Like, it's very calming, and it's the hallmark of a very, very good relationship. Trust then brings us to something else that, again, First Corinthians talks about. I don't know how I'm about to shoot myself in the foot, because First Corinthians does say, love bears no recollection of wrongs, and we're human beings. you know and having a healthy relationship, I think, is being able to forget. And I understand that while it is difficult in the human mind to forget, a good hallmark of a good relationship is to forgive and let it go. So it's not every 3 to 5 business days you bring it up, like, and then that was how you Do you understand? It just shows that you haven't really forgiven and you haven't really moved on. I don't know, Yo Yo. Is it only me that feels this way?
Well, from the human side, it's not easy to forget. It
Yeah.
might be easy for you to forgive based on your relationship with God or based on the maturity level that you're operating from. But just to forget, and also we're humans, you want to connect stories together. Oh, I think this is why, that connection, it's really there. And as we're talking about connection, this is also a good time for you to hit that subscribers button so that you can also just tie this connection with us, right? Okay, thank you for that. And so getting to that point, because this is real life situation. There is no need to fake it or package it. You would always have issues, right? That is how you grow. But it will get to a point where you are able to navigate you're able to build pillars around issues. When you build those pillars, then you're able to focus on what is positive. Because the man, let's assume is your boyfriend, your partner or your spouse, it will still remain the man. You don't have control over his growth pattern, right? And so what do you have control over? Yourself. It's first get comfortable of developing yourself out of every situation. What can you learn from these issues between both of you? If you sit on the side and point the 10 fingers towards him, that's okay, but you will still be there. But if you sit on this other side and say, okay, yeah, this happened, I'm hurt, what can I learn differently, right? The possibility that you would grow is there. The possibility that you would accommodate the more is there. The possibility that you would learn to forget and don't keep referring. When you're referring to things over and over again, I don't think I can trust you with my emotions. It's a process. It's all about the healing process. Say it, but don't mean it, and get to the point where you don't have to say it, right? And so it is not easy, let's be real, to say that you offended me last week, you did this last week, and today you are doing it again. Is like a cliche in everybody's home, right? But my 1 cent advice will be this: know the strength of your partner and know your strengths. Maximize that strength. Okay? Then know is learning curve. When you know is learning curve, okay, this is maybe there will be some issues here and there. So what can I do to navigate these issues?
Hey, now I agree with you there, but I think that there's an opportunity to say, like, even to the person or to the man in this situation, or to both parties, rather, if someone has verbalized that, you know um you offended them, like, there is some kind of onus on each of us to make sure that we're not constantly repeating the same offense that would lead to the same conversation. Because at some point I started to think, like, if we're having to have the same conversation over and over and over and over again, it's either you're not hearing me or just you are being willfully unkind, which is when
Okay,
we
so
started.
let me interrupt you at this point.
Yes,
So, for
that's it.
example, the woman's offense is that the man, I'll give you this is a real life example.
Yes.
The man would help the woman to wash the plate, but will not arrange the plate in a certain pattern. And so now, because I washed the plate, but I did not arrange the plate in a certain pattern that you like, is an offense. It is not real. What is most important in that situation? The
The
plate.
plate has
Is it
washed.
clean? It has been washed. So deal. I'm telling you, this is real, right? Deal with it. So when you call these little offenses, right, if they are very real, right, to tell you the reason for these offenses, you will realize that do you understand? Some can be very so that's why I said know the strength and know peace. Know the weakness and know peace. Know what works in a maybe you're about to get married, you want to live your life together. Start knowing his strength because a little things will definitely irritate you, right? As little as the way they bring out toothpaste, right? The way some women will package that story, you will think that this person has committed immorality, but it's just toothpaste. Do you understand?
I
So
understand.
Yeah, that's where I was coming from, that angle.
No, I absolutely agree with you on that front, and in terms of like having a healthy relationship, which again is what we're trying to have a conversation about here, it's about knowing when to stop and know when to push forward. And I think this ties us back to again that episode we did on emotional intelligence. Oh my goodness, we've been on a roll this year. So if you haven't seen our episode on that, where we discussed emotional intelligence and having to take a step back to take a step forward, please go see that episode because we've dropped a lot of nuggets that are very bingeable content, especially if you're in a relationship. But like you was saying, having a healthy relationship is knowing your strength in your partner, actually understanding. That's what it boils down to, understanding each other. That is what it means to have a healthy relationship, knowing when to compromise and knowing when to not compromise, because not everything needs to be an issue. But that is what we have. Wow, this has been a long conversation today, Yo-Yo. And I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to talk about it. Do you think that we should have like another conversation? Because, like, again, there's so many ways for you to have a healthy relationship. Let us know if this is something that you want us to tackle again. We can have another episode of how to have a healthy relationship, but only if you're enjoying this series. But I'm going to leave it with Yo-Yo to have the final word and close it out for us today.
Yeah, so I know we've talked about love, we've talked about kindness, we've also talked about understanding your partner's strength and his area of weaknesses. And if there is a particular area you're kind of struggling with in your relationship, in your home, and you feel this issue is recurring, and you really want to get a way out of it because you want to move forward and you want us to talk about it, please leave it on the comment section or please send us an email. We'll be happy to just talk about it anonymously. All right. And so we want to say thank you so much for sticking with us. If you have heard this part, we want to say thank you for contributing to our journey in 2025, for all the likes, for all the comments, for all the sharing. Thank you so much. And we wish you a wonderful week. Ensure your week ends well and take care.
Bye, guys.